are we tonight? I'm Johnny Carson. I'm here to beguile you with humor, tickle your visibilities, and titillate your imagination. This offer, of course, is void where prohibited by law. I have a public announcement. If anyone has any information as to the whereabouts of Idi Amin, would you please contact Marlon Perkins immediately so he can go out and throw a net over him? What is going on? Have you been following that story? 2 weeks ago, Idi Amin, the president, commander-in-chief, chief totem pole of Uganda, he's got all those titles, played a little trick on Britain. He said he was going to show up at the Commonwealth meetings. He disappeared, nobody. Then he said he never left Uganda. Now, all this week, the rumors are that people have seen him. Somebody said the last time they saw him, he was behind the wheel of a Volkswagen, which I thought was hysterical. Can you see him in a Volkswagen? And he has not been heard of for several days, and the Ugandan police are beginning to believe that he might have met with fair play. A lot of rumors going around. One rumor was that he drowned because he insisted on taking a bath wearing his medals. Another theory is that he was captured and turned loose in the North Woods by a member of the Sierra Club who mistook him for Bigfoot. Well, let's just hope if all goes well that they don't find him. That's weird. You know what today is? Today is the first day of summer officially. June 21st. Yes, you can always tell when it's summer in California. That's when people go around holding hands, you know, in spite of Anita Bryant. Everybody walks around. I should explain that Ed is still off, Doc is over here, and Tom is over here, and I'll explain later, give you our weekly hospital report from the show here. Things are gradually falling apart. I suppose you all saw on the news last night that today the Alaskan pipeline opened. And for some reason, I got the idea that they just turned it on and oil came out the other end all of a sudden. Forgetting that it is 800 miles long, and the oil's going to travel for about 1 mile an hour, and the fellows are going to walk all the way along the pipeline checking the oil. Did you know that? It comes hot out of the ground from Prudhoe Bay, from Prudhoe Bay or the North Slope down to Prudhoe Bay. Which is what? Down. From the North Slope. Cost them $7.7 billion to build, and it'll probably take the oil companies 2 weeks to get it back at the pump. I have a feeling gas is going to go up slightly. Did you see this item in the paper today? How many of you remember? It's been 20 years, it said in the paper, since Clayton Moore hung up his mask. How many of you remember Clayton Moore? Clayton Moore was the Lone Ranger. Made 2 motion pictures and 200 television shows as the Lone Ranger. He is still alive. He's 62. And what was the name of the horse? No, not Tonto. You never even saw a Lone Ranger ride Tonto, did you? Tonto. Well, who knows? He gets lonely on the desert. No. Tonto was faithful Indian sidekick, right? They'd say Kimosabe to Lone Ranger all the time. No, it was Silver. Hi-Yo Silver. Silver is still alive. 28 years old. Isn't that amazing? And they had kind of a sad reunion lately, I understand. Lone Ranger put on his mask, got on Silver and yelled hi-ho, and they both went down to the drugstore for some Preparation H. Not the same, but anyway. Speaking of personalities, did you see where Abe Vigoda, you all know who he is threatening to quit his own show and Barney Miller because he claims the producers or something prevented him from taking another job where he'd made $50,000. And he's threatening to quit both shows unless they agree to reimburse him. And Abe says the network just can't push him around. He is not just another pretty face. He does have he could do pretty well, though. He could be the poster boy for acid indigestion. I'm going to tell you a crazy story. Those of you in Los Angeles who live here know we have a drought all over the West. And if you're out here as a tourist, there are certain things you should do to save water. But the LA Times had a little insert in the Sunday paper. Did you get it at your house? We give you 25 tips on how to save water, and some of them were hysterical. For example, the first one was, when you bathe, use less water. It's pretty shrewd. A lot of thinking went into that. Most of the water that people use that is wasted is in the John. Did you know that? Every time you flush the John, they say 5 to 7 gallons of water disappear. And so they came up with this tip. They said, put a brick in your toilet. That's true now. I have a housekeeper, and I said to her, I said, Lizette, put a brick in the toilet. And I got up the next morning and walked out, and I looked down, and in the bowl of the toilet is a brick. Now, I didn't have the heart to tell her it's supposed to go in the tank. And I was going to take the brick out of the bowl, and I left it there, because I wanted to just wait till guests come over. Use that, John, and they got to go home saying, wow, that Carson is really macho. Somebody said, he really does it. Wow, what a digestive system. Anyway, tonight...